All right. So let's get started. This is what we did last week, imported audio. Or imported sessions, editing audio. Everybody should be comfortable with all these things moving forward. Clip game. Can anybody tell me what stems are? Matt, you nailed this one last week. Anybody else want to give it a whirl? Matt, you want to tell us again?
Yeah, they're like audio tracks for specific instruments.
Exactly. Let's go down the line and everybody tell me your favorite quick key. Or the one that you utilize the most.
I would say nudge is very useful just for moving things around.
Yeah, nice. McNeil, what's your favorite quick key?
I'd say Command Z, so I can like undo any mistakes I made.
Very useful. Pam.
But quick question though, like,
yeah,
so like there's a Command Z is to like undo your previous thing. Is there like is there a command to like redo it? Like just in case you didn't want to undo it?
There is. So command redo would be Command Shift Z.
All right.
Good question. That'll be your new favorite key. Pam, what was your favorite quick key?
Probably Command S, because if there wasn't a quick key for it, I wouldn't be saving as often as I do. So
yeah, very smart. How about Marissa?
I think the R and T button to zoom in and zoom out.
Nice. Mike, did you have a favorite one?
Yeah, I like the zoom in and zoom out and also the undo because I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, we got some popular quick keys in the crowd. What about Eric? No Eric yet. Ting Ting, do you have a favorite quick key?
I think it's Command E. Split the track.
Oh, yeah. And Ethan, what about you?
Mine is also zoom in and zoom out. It's very convenient. And there's another one I discovered. You press Control and you click on a track and like, okay, so you hold Control and you click the mouse and you hold both at the same time and you can, it's kind of like quick copy and paste. So have you ever used that one before?
Is it Option or a Control?
Actually, I don't know. I think it's Control.
I've used Option where you can drag a track and it'll copy it. I don't know. Are you on a Mac?
Probably that. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, if Control is working for you, then by all means keep using it. But Option definitely works for me, and that's a really useful one. That's great.
Yeah, I like that one.
Cool. And Dino, what about you?
I just like the copy and paste thing, Command C and Command V, but also I do like Command E.
Yeah, that's a good one. That'll be more and more in your audio. You'll be using that. And Angel, did you use any quick keys? Yeah.
No, not yet.
That's okay. Cool. Marissa, I still haven't found a quick key for your delete. I'm not sure there is one, but I'll keep.
That's okay.
All right. So today we're going to be getting into audio recording, which is very exciting. It's the second step, and we'll be doing a lot of it going forward. So what we're going to learn first is about microphones. What microphones does everybody have? Does anybody have a microphone?
Yeah, I have an Shure.
A Shure, cool. So you have a dynamic microphone. Who else has a microphone? Yeah.
I also have a Shure SM58.
Nice. So that's a dynamic. So just remember that. Who else?
I rented out the equipment from the music library.
Cool.
I'm not sure what type of microphone it is though.
That's okay. I think you might have a condenser, which is a great microphone. Anybody else? Does everybody have something to record on? Because you're gonna need it. All right, so. And go to the school, go to the music library if you do not have anything to record on, and pick up a kit, because it's free and it's a great tool and it'll make your project so much better. So microphones are a type of transducer, a device which converts energy from one form to another. Microphones can convert acoustical energy, sound waves, into electrical energy, this audio signal. Different types of microphones have different ways of converting energy, but they all share one thing in common, the diaphragm. This is a thin piece of material such as paper right here, plastic or aluminum, which vibrates when it is struck by sound waves. In a typical handheld mic like this one, the diaphragm is located in the head of the microphone. When the diaphragm vibrates, it causes other components in the microphone to vibrate. These vibrations are converted into electrical signal, which becomes an audio signal. So we have our voice or instrument going in, then we have it recorded, and it will go to our interface and then computer. So there are multiple types of microphones, but the two we're going to be talking about are condenser and dynamic microphones. If you have a Shure SM58, then you have a dynamic microphone. I have one right here. If you have a condenser, which is what I think is in the school box, they are great too. Condenser microphones capture vocals in high frequencies very well. They're good for intimate and soft sounding recordings because they capture a lot of different things in a small bit. And dynamic microphones are really good for live performances and loud instruments such as drums, because they have let a lot of sound in, and then it doesn't get distracted by any of the other sounds. So condenser microphones are one of the most popular mic choices for studio recording applications because of their sensitivity and fidelity. In general, a condenser microphone will provide a wider frequency response range than their dynamic microphone cousins, but will have a lower input sensitivity. And what we're going to be talking about in a little bit is they do require phantom power, which is basically a button on your interface that you have to turn on in order for them to be turned on. A dynamic microphone, also known as a moving coil microphone, but nobody calls it that, works via electromagnet induction. They are robust, relatively inexpensive, and resistant to moisture. This, coupled with their potentially high gain before feedback, makes them ideal for on-stage use. I don't know if anybody's performed live, but if you have, you probably used a Shure SM58 or 57, and they probably have a big dent in them. So the difference between a dynamic and a condenser microphone is a dynamic microphone is better for capturing loud, strong sounds, such as drums or loud vocals, and are great in a live setting, whereas a condenser microphone is used to capture more delicate sounds and high frequencies. Condenser microphones really pick up anything in the room. So if you're using them in a live setting, then they will capture the crowd talking. So you really just want to use a dynamic microphone when you're in a room that's chatty. And dynamic microphones do not require phantom power. They have their power built in already. So condenser microphones are also great because they allow you to pick up different polar patterns. So if your microphone's here and you have it selected onto omnidirectional, it will pick up all sounds within this range. If you switch it to bidirectional and your microphone's here, it will pick up all sounds that are going through here. If you do subcardioid and you're standing here, it will pick up a little behind you and a lot in front of you. Cardioid would pick up a lot in front of you and some on the sides. Hypercardioid would pick up behind you and here. Supercardioid, a little less room, and then the shotgun this way. So we're going to listen to how the different ones work right now. I think I gotta unshare my screen and share the sound. That's sharing sound, good.
It's a taste of fall,
After a year.
a day not to miss.
Werther's original limited edition harvest caramels. Discover the original fall flavor.
Microphone polar patterns. Omnidirectional, cardioid, low bar, supercardioid, hypercardioid, bidirectional, Antarctica. Okay, so one of those isn't exactly a polar pattern, but if you've ever wondered what all those funky graphics on microphone spec sheets are and what they actually mean, I'm here to help. Microphone polar pattern, also known as pickup pattern, describes how sensitive a microphone is to sound waves from any given direction. If you've ever shopped around for a microphone, then you've probably seen something like these. These graphics show a 360-degree image of where a microphone accepts or rejects incoming sound. Typically there are 6 microphone polar patterns to choose from, and picking the correct one can be the difference between super crisp audio and super soggy sound. The main microphone polar patterns are cardioid, supercardioid, hypercardioid, omnidirectional, shotgun, and bidirectional, also known as figure of 8. As you can see, there are some big differences between each pattern, and each one has a unique set of strengths and weaknesses. Let's start by looking at cardioid. A cardioid microphone is most sensitive at the front, or the top, depending on how you look at it. The least sensitive part of a cardioid microphone is at the rear. This helps reject ambient noise from behind the microphone, which reduces the risk of feedback without affecting the input from the front. This feature makes cardioid microphones ideal for live vocalists, studio recordings, and even rooms with poor acoustics, if you keep the mic close to the sound source, also known as close miking.
Here's a cardioid mic from Sennheiser, the E835. It's a really popular choice for speech and for singing. It picks up really well from the front and rejects really well from the sides and even more so from the back.
As the name suggests, supercardioid is a type of cardioid polar pattern. The tighter pattern results in reduced pickup from the sides and an increased pickup from the front and the rear, which can result in some unwanted input from behind the mic. Supercardioid microphones are excellent at sound isolation and generally result in a high gain before feedback. This makes them particularly good for focusing on sounds in loud environments, such as vocalists recording with a band in a studio. Typical supercardioid microphones include gooseneck, boundary, ceiling, as well as lapel and head mic.
This is the D5 from AKG. Now this one is a supercardioid pickup, so it picks up even tighter from the front and rejects even more from the side. Now the only trade-off is that it does pick up slightly from the back.
The omni in omnidirectional means all, which gives you a clue to the properties of our next polar pattern. Omnidirectional microphones, like this lapel microphone and this lapel microphone, are sensitive to sound from all around them. This makes them ideal for people who move around a lot, like Electra turning their head from side to side, or for hanging mics and boundary mics which might not be as close to the sound source. Because omnidirectional mics pick up sound from all around, they're also great for recording ambient sounds or capturing a room's natural acoustics. However, you do need to be thoughtful when using omni mics on stages or in loud environments, as they can be easily drowned out or result in major feedback.
Now this is not how I'd recommend using your ME2. However, it does demonstrate really well the 360-degree pickup pattern that you would typically find in an Omni. Also, you may hear more room tone when using an Omni, as it's more sensitive than the other microphones we've shown.
Simply put, bidirectional microphone picks up audio equally in 2 directions, typically from the front and the rear. The polar pattern is often called a figure of 8 because of its pickup shape and is most commonly found in large diaphragm and ribbon microphones. This polar pattern is excellent for vocal and instrumental recordings where maximum sideways rejection is required. Try to steer clear of bidirectional mics when isolating a single source in a loud or acoustically messy environment.
Here we have the Sontronic Sigma 2. This is a bidirectional microphone, so it's got a really focused pickup at the front, a lot of rejection at the sides, and then another really focused pickup at the back.
Hypercardioid is a bit of a mix between cardioid and bidirectional, with a large frontal lobe and smaller rear pickup. The major benefit from this polar pattern is the increased rejection for the sides and more focused pickup in the front and slight increase in the rear. The main drawback to hypercardioid mics is the sensitivity to vocal plosives. These are sharp popping sounds you can get from words like kite, pod and golf. If possible, it's always best to use a pop filter with hypercardioid microphones to help reduce some of these plosive sounds.
Hypercardioid head mics such as this Audio-Technica Pro 8 do a great job at isolating vocals and rejecting from the sides and the rear. Now this is great, especially if the microphone is placed really close to the speaker's mouth.
Finally, we have the low bar or shotgun polar pattern. These microphones are extremely focused at the front with maximum rejection at the sides and much less pickup in the rear. Low bar mics are really interesting because they're often just a hypercardioid or supercardioid capsule located down an acoustic tube. These tubes can vary in length, with the sideways rejection increasing with the length of the tube. You'll often see low bar mics used on films and TV sets because they can clearly capture the talent's vocal from a distance without picking up sounds of the environment or the crew. However, low bar mics don't perform well in situations where you need to capture the full ambience of a space or as a fixed mic on a moving source.
This is the Audio-Technica 897 shotgun microphone. This has a super focused and clear pickup from the front with an aggressive cutoff at the sides and in the rear.
So that's a wrap. Whether you work in studio, TV production or live events, you know the basics of polar patterns and more importantly which mics will and won't work for your project.
Has anybody used any of those polar patterns or microphones before in any scenario? Okay. All right, well, when recording your final project, you can dabble around with what you want to use. Let's see what's in the all right, so recording audio, there's something called phantom power when you record with a condenser microphone. Phantom power is DC voltage sent down the microphone cable to the power the preamplifier of a condenser mic capsule and or to provide a polarization charge to the back plate of the element. Most modern mixing consoles provide phantom power, as do external audio interfaces, certain audio recorders, and video cameras. And the symbol you'll see is 48V. And then if you rented a equipment from school or purchased this, this is a great thing to, let me stop sharing my screen. This is a great thing to purchase, a little Scarlett Focusrite. And on it, you will see a 48V. So if you are plugging in a condenser microphone into it, you want to have that button turned on. Otherwise, you will not hear anything. If you have a dynamic microphone, you do not need to turn that on. And if you turn it on anyways, it's not a problem. Doesn't really matter. So, microphone cables. There are many different cables that you can use to record with. Microphones generally use this kind of cable. So the male 3-pin XLR connector has 3 pins that act as plugs. Male 3-pin XLR inserts into female 3-pin XLRs when connected. The female 3-pin XLR connector has 3 pins act as jacks that receive the male 3-pin when connected. So this you will plug into your interface, this side. This you will plug into your microphone. So pin 1 is the ground shield wire. It provides a reference point for pins 2 and 3. On top of that, pin 1 also acts as a cable shield, protecting pins 2 and 3 from electromagnetic interference. Sorry. Pin 2 is a hot positive wire. It carries a copy of the audio signal into positive polarity. In the case of the microphone connection, it carries the positive mic signal from the microphone to the connected mic input. Pin 3 is the cold negative wire. It carries a copy of the audio signal in negative reverse polarity. In the case of the microphone connection, it carries the negative mic signal from the microphone to the connected mic input. Does everybody have a mic cable that has a microphone? Good, because if you don't have that, then you're not going to be able to plug anything in. So the other common cable is the 1/4-inch cables. Does anybody know what you would use these for?
Well, one I know is electric guitars into amps.
Nice, yeah. So 1/4-inch connectors are used for instruments such as guitars, basses, keys, synths, mixing consoles, preamps, amps, and audio interfaces. Everything pretty much except for microphones. The cable at the bottom of the graphic is the standard 1/4-inch instrument cable. It has 2 conductors, 1 and 2, separated by an isolating ring so that they don't contact each other. The tip 1 carries the hot or positive audio signal, the sleeve 2, and is grounded or negative audio signal. The stereo cable builds upon this design. it adds a ring 3 to the tip 1 and sleeve 2. This again, separated by the isolating ring 1, allows a second channel to be carried by the same cable. So this, if you're using a stereo microphone, you would use that. Or on your headphones, you would see more likely than not because you have 2 headphones. So what we are doing today and moving forward is we are changing our audio coming from your instrument or your voice into a digital form. So microphones are used to digitize audio. Digital audio is the signal that has been recorded in or converted into digital form. In digital audio, the sound wave or the audio signal is encoded as numerical samples in continuous sequence. This digital signal can then be recorded, edited, modified, and copied using computers, audio playback, machines, and other digital tools. When the listener wishes to listen to the recording on headphones or loudspeakers, a digital to analog converter, DAC, performs the reverse process, converting a digital signal back into an analog signal, which is then sent through an audio power amplifier and ultimately to a loudspeaker. So this is our signal flow. You have the microphone, you sing into it, it goes into your audio interface, your Focusrite Scarlett, if you have it, which then puts it into your computer. This is your input, which we will see in the works when we go to Pro Tools. Then it goes through your DAW channel, through the mix box, back to your audio interface, because you have an output on there where you plug your headphones into, through your headphones, and then you hear it back. Signal flow is the order of operations of a sound that goes through. When you record an instrument, the sound goes through different stages before you hear it and through the speakers. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be recording audio, and one of the parts of recording audio is called gain staging, where you're getting a level to make sure things are not too quiet or not too loud. So gain staging is the process of making sure the audio is set to an optimal level for the next processor in the chain in order to minimize noise and distortion. By gain staging through your analog and digital systems, you can achieve the best possible sound for your recording. So if you look on your audio interface, you will see a little knob that says gain. And what you do when you go to record audio is you speak into it, you have your talent, speak into it, and you turn up the gain staging. So I will demonstrate with Zoom. All right. So you can hear me, right? On Zoom. So right now I'm turning down the gain on my I'm turning the knob up and I'm getting louder. I'm speaking at the same level. So you want to make sure that you have enough of the person's voice where you can hear it clearly when you're recording, but not too much where it gets so loud that it distorts. This was my little gain staging demonstration. All right. So distortion. Distortion is a deviation from the perfect desired sound curve. Does anybody know distortion? Can explain it? What it sounds like?
Do you mean like clipping?
Yes, exactly. Do you want to delve a little further into what you mean?
Yeah, so like if the gain is too high and you're too close to the microphone, it just completely cuts the sound out.
Yeah, and it sounds all gritty and like, and once recorded that way, you can't, there's no plugin that will undo that. So there are some times you want to add a plugin afterwards where distortion is really good, but you never really want to have distortion in your original sound file. So I'm going to just play you one song that will give you the sound. Hear it in the guitar. So there, everything is intentionally distorted. whether they do it before or after. But generally, you do not want to, you want to make sure you have just enough gain where you have enough, you can hear everything, but you don't want it to distort. And Pro Tools actually does show you when it is distorting. There's a red, if you see here, Pro Tools will show you, this little button will light up and it'll tell you distorting. You want to have your level pretty much somewhere around in here. This is too low. This is a little low. This is too high. So again, if your output is here, you want to, if your level is here, you want to increase the gain so it's here. If your level is here, you want to decrease the gain so it's here. And then if your level is here, then you are just right. So here is the Scarlett interface. We have input 1 right here. Then you have your gain knob. Then you have input 2 right here, the gain knob for input 2. Then this is for your monitor. This will be the volume for your monitor, and this is where you plug in your headphones. Then on the reverse side, you can see where you would plug in your computer, and then where you would plug in your speakers right here. If you're using speakers. If you're not, then you're using your headphones. So does anybody have anything other than a Scarlett focus interface that they're using? What do you have, Matt?
I have an Alesis Multimix 4.
Oh, I had one of those. Have you used it yet?
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else? No. All right. All right, so now we're going to dive right into it, and we're going to go to Pro Tools, and we're going to get recording audio. And this might take a little bit to practice, but we're going to give it our best shot. So this is the steps we will take in order to hear our audio. I'm going to walk through it, and then I'm going to pull this back up so everybody can walk through the steps themselves. So you will open up Pro Tools. I did want to say one thing. Some people are still doing two things. They're not naming their Pro Tools session correctly, which is when I download everybody's Pro Tools, then it makes it hard for me to figure out whose session is who if you don't name it correctly. So you want to name it again, the name of your song, and be creative. You don't have to name it song 1 like I did. Underscore date, underscore your initials. The other thing that I want people to, and 95% of you are doing it, is send me the whole Pro Tools session, not just the PTX file. So I will show you here. Most of you are doing this. This is my Pro Tools folder. That is what you want me to send. What you want to send me. Some of you are still just sending me this. Don't do that. Send me the whole thing. Send me the whole folder. Okay. So going back to Pro Tools. So who can tell me the quick key for creating a new track?
Oh, Command Shift N.
Nice. Okay, so we have our Command Shift N, we have our new track up. Then we have, it defaults to an audio track. So you really actually don't need to change anything because we want to be in mono because we're only recording with one microphone right now. And then it's an audio track. So you really just have to click create. If you want to, you can rename it. You can name it Box Voice 1. Oops. And hit OK. So I have my vocals here. Now, what's important is you want to see that the IO is here. If an IO is not here, go over to this drop-down menu right here and make sure this is checked. Then you will have an IO. Then you have to make sure that there is something here under your interface. If you don't have anything here under your interface, then you would want to go up to Setup, Playback Engine, and then click it So you have your Scarlett or your Elias or whatever interface you're using, click that. Hit OK. Okay. And then I am plugged into, on my interface, I am plugged into input 1. So I will select input 1. Then I will record enable. And once I do that, I should see that there is some level going through. You can see that it's picking something up. So that's a really good sign. And then I record it just like I would an instrument. I go to hit it, and then a sound wave should come up and I should be seeing something. Yes, I'm seeing something. If my sound wave looks like this, what do you think that means?
It's very low volume.
Yes, exactly. So what would I have to do, Matt?
Increase your clip gain.
Yes, so I would go to my interface and I would increase the gain. And you can also see that as I'm increasing the gain, this right here is moving up, which is, you want to see that, that's your gain staging there. So I would do everybody's favorite command, Command Z, and I would start over and see if my signal is a little higher. Yep, I'm getting a better level right here. I'm not distorting, which is great. And so if I play it back, I will have that. If I do end up distorting, see this little red button right there? When I tap it right there, that means it distorted. So then you know that you should turn down your gain. And then I can unclick it and then it'll reset itself. And the next time it distorts, it will go back and re-click again. Any questions? No. All right. So does everybody want to open up Pro Tools? And then start, just record something. If you have not gotten a kit yet, or a microphone or something, then you can set up your playback engine to MacBook. This is what I would do. I would set up my playback engine to MacBook Pro microphone. And you're going to get some pretty unprofessional or lo-fi sounds. And then you would go to interface MacBook microphone, and that would be your input. So if you do not have an interface, then do that. But it is really for your benefit to get an interface or rent a kit. All right, so this is going to take a while for everybody to get comfortable with. So let's take 20 minutes and everybody just record some audio and get that up and running.
I'm having an issue with the IO option, like but my options are like built-in microphone and that's it.
For your IO, for your did you change your setup? Playback engine? You have a Scarlett, right? You rented something?
Yeah.
Did you, and it's plugged in?
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Okay.
Everything's turned on.
So, do you want to share your screen?
Sure. You can see it, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So then go to setup.
Oh, at the top.
Playback engine. Yep. And then hit playback engine where it says Pro Tools Aggregate IO.
Yeah.
And then hit Scarlett. Yeah. And then hit yes.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the screen share.
Okay. And then you should be able to change your input to input 1.
Okay. I'll let you know if it is an issue. Change it to input 1, you said?
Yes, if your microphone is plugged into the first, that's input 1. If it's plugged into the second, then that would be input 2. So you can essentially record 2 things at once. You could record guitars and vocals or 2 separate microphones and have one set to input one, one set to input two. But right now we're just doing one. Let me share the steps with everybody. Angel, were you able to create a audio track?
No, where is the audio track? It's just the click track, then found the audio track.
So what you would do
Uh-huh.
is you would go to track,
Yeah.
new track. And then you don't have to change anything because it's set to mono and audio track, and then create.
Okay. Track, the audio track. Yeah, then there's the audio one.
Yes. And so do you have any equipment plugged in other than your keyboard?
I have a mic, but I don't have your hand, your like red color, the box. I don't have that.
Do you have something to, what's the mic, a USB mic?
Mic is, sure Mac.
Okay, so you do need something to plug that into. But
Yeah.
right now, what you can do instead is you can go to setup,
Okay.
playback engine,
Playback engine, yeah.
then select Mac under where it says playback engine, select MacBook Pro microphone.
Mac. There's a dynamic.
Oh, you're on Windows. You're on Windows. So you would
Yeah.
select if something says microphone, you could select.
Oh, okay. So says dynamic plugin process. I don't know, that's microphone. Yeah, there's a microphone, input device microphone or output.
Input, it would be an input.
Input, okay. And then, okay.
And then over here, you would want where it says IO. You want the interface to match what you just selected.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have an interface. So if I don't have interface, I don't have an IO.
You do have, if you have what you selected under your setup playback engine. So you have your computer as your interface essentially.
Okay. Oh, computer interface.
But if you want to get a an interface,
yeah,
I'll put a link in the chat of a decent interface to have.
Maybe you email me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So I do want to get the interface. I want to purchase, not buy another brand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This would be a good one for you to get. I'll
Okay.
email it to you.
I have a buffer size 256. Which number is good?
256 is good. Nothing
Okay.
nothing higher than that.
All right. So we come back in right now, 5:23. What time we come back?
Come back at 5:40.
Okay,
Everybody be ready to talk about what you recorded.
all right. So your recording audio in Pro Tools, this 129 will be on your syllabus or on your blackboard or?
Yes.
Okay.
Professor,
Yes.
I was able to get the recording to like record, like the microphone actually recorded thing, but now I can't like hear it back.
Okay. Then
don't
that
know.
would be your output that you're
Yeah.
having trouble with. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah. I tried changing it around to different outputs, but I couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah, so you have a bus and that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You want it to go under output.
Yeah.
That says path NA, so that's not gonna work. So you want to do output 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Um,
But then like I can't hear it.
Hold
so-
on. You have, yeah, output go 1 to 2. Built-in output. Oh, see where it says 1, scroll. Yeah. And then go down one more where it says stereo.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear it?
I don't hear it though.
Do you hear it coming out of your speakers at all?
No. Like I have wired earbuds in, but
And what are those plugged into?
into the computer itself.
Plug those into your interface if you can.
Oh, okay. I can actually hear it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
No problem. So the input is what is going in through your microphone and the output is what you're hearing out of it.
Okay.
So Carrie, you're having trouble with your USB mic? Did you change the
Yeah.
playback engine to your
I
USB
did,
mic?
and I don't have an interface, so is that gonna like?
No,
mess it up?
it should work. Did you plug in the USB mic before you open Pro Tools?
I did, but it still wasn't working, so I unplugged it, and now I'm like restarting Pro Tools to see.
Okay, yeah,
happening.
try that again and then try the setup playback engine again.
Okay.
Professor?
Yes.
Yeah, I opened up the link you sent to me. It says Sweet Water.
Yeah.
Those are the online store. Can I go to Guitar Center? Will be the
Yeah,
same?
they would have it at Guitar Center.
But Sweet Water, that's a guitar. That's
That's a different website. It's an online website.
Oh, okay.
And Sweetwater is really good because if you have a problem with any instruments or plugins, they have a free customer service that you can always just call them and they'll walk you through anything. So they're a good company to buy from, but they're only online.
Okay. Thank you.
How's it working out for you, Carrie?
It's still not working.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. One sec. Okay.
Do me a favor. So to the, sorry, just unshare your screen for 1 second. I'll show you because it might be easier rather than me trying to try to explain. Here, so up at this left hand, under your markers and your tempo and meter and everything, there's a little drop down menu.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that IO is selected.
Well, there it goes. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So now share your screen again.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can you show again? What you just show?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So if somebody is not seeing IO on their main edit window, you go to this little drop down menu right here. And where we put inserts in, you can also check IO. And pop that out. So that will allow you to change your inputs and outputs right there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to share your screen, Carrie?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, click on the input right there. Audio input back to front left. Not sure what that means. Go to your playback engine. At the setup playback engine.
Yeah, I know. I just the Zoom thingy's in the way.
Oh, that's okay. Screen space. Yes. Okay, then change your playback engine. Okay, so that's the Shure MV51 is your mic, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
Mhm.
So click that and then hit OK. All right, now go to your input. I have no idea. try hitting record. Record enable. Yeah, hit that and then talk into your microphone.
Hello. Okay. I hear it in my earbuds too, so I think now
Okay,
it's
so I guess it just named something
but
differently.
before actually it wasn't letting me do that.
All
When I
right.
hit record enable before, it wouldn't let me do that. So okay.
All right.
I don't
Well, I'm
know.
glad something worked.
Yeah.
So Professor, can I ask you quick
Mhm.
about computer? So if I buy a computer, which one you recommended?
Oh. It's kind of a personal preference and budget. You're gonna want one with a lot of CPU and storage if you're using a lot of plugins and stuff. So I would get one that has the most CPU and plugins. I mean CPU and storage,
Okay,
whether it's Windows or Macs.
Windows, Macs, right? Mac?
Yeah,
Okay. Mac Plus or just Mac?
just Mac.
Just Mac.
Just make sure that you have a lot of RAM, a lot of storage. Because RAM takes up a lot. It uses.
What's the RAM for storage?
I think RAM is, I'm not exactly sure, but a lot of the plugins use that up and make your computer go really slow if you don't have enough of it. So.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem.
So they have a Mac Air, Mac Plus. So don't looking for that. Just buy a Mac for recording.
Yeah, yeah.
For the recording.
You can just buy a regular desktop Mac because you're gonna want to have a big screen too. So you're not.
Oh, desktop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. So just a regular desktop Mac.
Yeah.
That's better than the laptop, right?
As long as you're staying in one place, I think it's better because the screen's bigger.
Yeah, right now I probably move once. Right now I just move once, then I stay there.
Yeah.
Just move once, the desktop is okay, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Hey,
Thank you
Professor.
very much.
Hey, Meet, how are you?
Sorry about that. I mean, I had work though. I just got home right now.
That's okay.
Did I miss anything by chance?
You did. So
Oh.
open up Pro Tools whenever you get a sec, and I'll walk you through what you need to do.
Yeah, I'm actually opening Pro Tools right now.
Okay. How's everybody making out? What's everybody reporting? Has everybody recorded something? Has got it up and running. That's great.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure on my end.
Do you want to share your screen?
Sure.
What do you have as a recording microphone?
Oh, I got the like the thing from the school.
Okay, cool. And you have the interface, the microphone plugged into the interface, which is plugged into your computer, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now go to setup.
Things in the way.
Yep, you're right there. Yep. Playback engine, yep. Then under input, you have Scarlett. That's good. Yeah, you select okay, so hit okay. Then under your input, under your IO, where it says microphone. Okay, then down to interface. Okay, then go to microphone 1. Okay. And then, so do you think you have a condenser or do you think you have a dynamic microphone?
I think it's a condenser,
Cool.
but I'm not too sure.
So do you remember what needs to be turned on if you have a condenser?
Not really.
That's okay. So the phantom power, the 48V. So on your interface, there's a little button right by the cable that says 48V. So if you hit that.
Yeah, I just saw a little feedback on the thing.
Cool. So then adjust your gain.
Yeah, but I have it set to the other one though. So do I just try like a? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, so you're okay. So you're plugged into the input too. So that's great. So now you should be able to record.
Okay, my Pro Tools finally opened.
Okay. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to create a new track.
Okay, so new track.
Yep.
Stereo, right? For new?
No, because we're gonna do audio. So you do not need to create a stereo track. We're doing mono track because it's audio.
Oh.
So watch what I do, Meet, and then you can repeat. So this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna go track, new. Then it defaults to what you should have. So mono and then audio track. And then you hit create. To do that.
Okay.
Now, do you have a interface or microphone or anything? Did you rent something from the school?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you rent something from the school, a microphone?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So what you're gonna use is you're gonna use your computer's microphone for now. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to setup, playback engine.
Sorry, setup playback engine.
Yeah. And then under playback engine, you're gonna go to MacBook Pro microphone.
Built-in microphone.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And then hit OK. Then you're going to want to make sure that, do you see IO on your screen right here?
Let me look.
Why can't you touch?
Yeah, I see the IO.
Okay, so under the input, under interface, you will select built-in microphone.
Wait, for audio 1, right? Not for the second one?
For the first one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so alright, so interface built-in microphone 1, right?
Yep.
Okay, selected. What
And
about the
then-
output?
The output should be your speakers, whatever speakers you have, or your built-in output.
Okay, I mean it's already set to no output.
Okay. The problem with using your microphone in your computer is that you have to go back and you have to switch it to the built-in speakers, and then you can go back. So once you record, then you can go back and to listen.
Well, there's actually 3 selections. Built-in output 1, 2, built-in output 1, built-in output 2.
Built-in output. Say that again.
There's 3, like, for no for the second one that says no output. There's when you go to output, it says built-in output 1 and 2, built-in output 1, and built-in output 2. They're both separated.
Built-in output 1 and 2.
1 and 2, got it.
Yeah, and
There
then
we
you're
go.
gonna record enable. So I'm gonna go to my setup playback engine if I'm using my microphone speakers.
Mhm.
Or my built-in microphone, so I have this. Yes. Okay. And then you're gonna record enable. And then you're gonna see this green lever going, which means that you're getting signal.
Hold on, I don't think. Hold on, let me try to do it again. Hold on. So playback engine, built-in microphone.
Yep.
Okay, it's already set though, but I don't see anything. Or wait, hold up. Oh yeah, I see it now. I didn't press the red button yet.
Yep. And then if you hit this other record button and then the space bar, then you should be recording audio.
Like does that have to be anything specific, or like anything you want to record just sympathetically?
Well, your project this week is you're going to be recording audio, but for right now, I just want to make sure everybody can record audio.
Like for like audio, could it be like anything, like you're playing an instrument, or?
Yeah, an acoustic instrument or anything that is microphone, you would microphone.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. I mean, this shouldn't be that hard to do. It's just like recording, like just putting over there, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So you're up to speed. Everybody else, Eric, Dino.
Okay, so we have to record like only 1 track.
No, we're not there yet. Just make sure at the moment that you can record.
I actually need some help setting up the microphone.
Go for it. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I thought I had it figured out, but I did not.
Okay.
Oh, 1 second, I have to set up my Zoom.
So right now, just record 1 thing, and that's.
Yeah, just make sure that you are able, everybody in 5 minutes should be able to record some kind of audio.
Okay, so mind if I record something with my guitar real fast?
Yeah, go for it. I'm gonna mute you because Matt's gonna share a screen. I think we lost Matt. Oh. You there, Matt?
Hello?
We're here.
All right.
Okay.
You can see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so when I go to the input, It's the interface isn't coming up, although I do have the setup set to my interface.
Okay, so you are there. So, and this is you have your Elias plugged into your computer,
Yeah.
and it's called USB audio codec.
Yeah, that's what it shows up as. And I'm getting audio from the computer through the interface, like into
Okay.
my headphones.
Okay,
But and I'm getting audio from the microphone too. It's just the input is not coming up over here.
okay. And did you plug everything in before you opened up Pro Tools?
Yeah. And I've like reopened it a few times.
Okay. Go to your, I don't know if this is gonna work, but go to your setup and then down to IO. And
Yeah,
then,
I was looking at this too.
yeah. And
I
then
don't know
hit,
how to like add something.
yeah. Hit default. No, didn't do anything. Hit OK. What was that core audio configuration? Okay, hit OK. Then OK again. Go over to your input. Let me see what's on the drop down menu one more time. Nothing. Have you ever been able to record with this?
Yeah, I've used it with Ableton.
With Ableton, okay. Can you type the name of your interface into the chat so I can see it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna look into that, Matt, because I'm not really sure.
All right.
And you're on a Mac or a Windows?
I'm on a Mac.
Okay. All right, I'll look into that further. Anybody else? Problems? All right, so everybody's up to speed. Elijah, you're a little late. Do you know what we're talking about? No. Okay. So. All right, so put down your pencils. We are going to have Carrie is our first grad presentation. And we're very excited to hear from her. She's going to be giving us the rundown on the clarinet, because some of you will be using that as your instrument. So she's going to tell us all about the range for it. So when you're writing for the clarinet, keep all this in mind, if this is your instrument. I love the clarinet. I use it all the time. It's great.
Me too. All right, so I hate Zoom. Hold on, sorry. There's stuff in the way. Okay. Okay. So I am going to be talking about the clarinet today. So there are a bunch of different types of clarinets. It is part of the woodwind family. As you can see on the right, there's a lot of different types. But the B flat and the bass clarinet are the most common. So this is the bass clarinet, and the B flat clarinet are the most common. And then the A clarinet and the E flat clarinet are also sometimes used in orchestra or wind ensemble settings. You don't really find all the other ones, so the alto, the C, the D, the high G, and the deep G. You don't really find those anywhere. Most of them are kind of obsolete. And all of these instruments are transposing instruments except for the C clarinet, so I'll talk a little bit about what that means. no. Okay. So the range. A B flat clarinet is a transposing instrument. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna mostly talk about the B flat clarinet because
Is that the
it
one
is
you'd be playing?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
that's the
cool.
one I have and that I will be playing. If you choose to record with clarinet later on this semester. Um, yeah, I don't own any of the other ones because it's just yeah. So the B flat clarinet is a transposing instrument. So what is written for both the musician and I guess the composer is different from what is heard. So a written C sounds B flat. It sounds complicated, but it's really not too bad when you get used to it. So if you write a C on the staff for a clarinet, it's gonna sound like a B flat, not a C. You have to keep that in mind. The lowest possible note is a written E3 below the treble staff, or it sounds D3, so this note down here. So when you write it for clarinet, it would look like an E, but it would sound like a D. And then the highest possible note is a written D7, which sounds C7, which is way up here. So it's got a pretty nice range. But it's uncommon, honestly, for music to be written above a G or F6. So sounds F6, this one right here. Because it gets a little squeaky, and by squeaky, I mean really squeaky over this. Like, not many people can hit these notes well. Like they could hit it, but it's not going to sound too nice. So I would stick to this area especially. It's really nice, and the low range too is nice too, and in tune. So that's what it looks like on the treble staff, which is you can see it's pretty wide range. So the use, it has a smooth, warm, like woody sound. I always have described it as woody. I mean, it is mostly made out of wood, so that makes sense. It's really versatile. It is capable of many techniques, very agile, so fast runs, trills, you name it, it could probably do it. And it's capable of different articulations and a pretty large range of dynamics. And then some extended techniques would be double tonguing, slap tonguing, flutter tonguing, pitch bending, and glissandi, singing while playing, key clicks, and multiphonics. So I will say, I am a clarinetist, but I'm also a teacher. So, my extended techniques are not, that great. So don't go if writing crazy weird stuff because I wouldn't be able to do that sitting down right away. I'd have to take time to practice. Flutter tonguing, for example, is something I've never been able to figure out for whatever reason. I just can't do it. So there's just those kind of things are just things to keep in mind that if you really, really want them, you gotta find the right person to perform those for you. And I do have a little video of the beginning solo from Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue because it actually has a lot of these techniques in just this little clip. So I am going to play it just so that everyone can hear the clarinet. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of pitch bending in there and glissandi and trilling. So just a little example of what it's capable of. And then this website down here I found has a lot more details about the clarinet if you're interested. I'll put my whole presentation to the Google Classroom later if you're interested in checking that out. It had a lot on there that was useful. So, hello, let's go. Okay. Notation. Standard music notation, treble clef is best if you're handing music over to a clarinet player or any woodwind player. With transpose score slash part. So again, like if you're writing in C major, what you're writing is not actually in C major because on the clarinet it's going to sound like B flat major. So you just have to remember that you have to transpose the part or the score before giving it to the player. You could do, I guess, chord charts if you really wanted to, but if you're doing like improv stuff and you want the clarinetist to, improvise over chords, that would work out fine. But mostly, if you want something very specific, you're going to want to give them written music notation for the most part. Mic setup. So I have a little bit of experience with this over COVID. That's how we like did lessons and all that and orchestra, so we had to just like film ourselves and send it in. So that's like the only reason why I know anything about this. So what I was taught by my clarinet teacher was the microphone should be at least 12 inches away from the middle of the instrument or further. So depending on the size of the room and the space, like if you want more of a live sound or more of just a dead sound, then that's up to you. I would not aim it at the bell of the instrument. So the bell is at the very bottom because not all the sound comes out of there. The sound also comes out of the middle of the instrument and like where the fingers go, because those are holes. So the sound comes out of the holes too. The bell really only picks up the lowest notes. And then for clip-on microphones, also it's best to have it aimed at the tone hole, so at the middle of the instrument where the fingers are, not at the bell. Again, it just like really just it does distort the sound and really pinches it. Last year, so I teach a marching band, and last year we had a clarinet solo in the show, and we had to mic the clarinet because it's not a very loud instrument, especially on a football field. And the only mic we had was for the bell, and it wasn't really made for a clarinet either, and it just always did not sound right, and always just like I died a little every time my student had to play the solo because it just never sounded the way we wanted it to. But that's what we had to work with. So if you can do better with one of these clip-ons or a setup like this, then you're better off, in my opinion. And then genres. So mostly you're going to find clarinet in classical, jazz, and klezmer music, but it also does exist outside of that. So the Beatles have used clarinet in their song When I'm 64. This song I found called Back Pocket by Wolfpack. They use it at the end in like a little clarinet trio. It's kind of weird and cool. And then I'm a little biased to this artist, Sleeping at Last. He's one of my favorites, and he uses all sorts of instruments all the time, including clarinet in the song Silhouettes. I don't want to. Do we have time to play a little bit of them, or? Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with a little bit of When I'm 64. So this has a little bit of like a New Orleans feel to it, but.
When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine? Birthday greetings, bottle of wine.
So there, the clarinets are kind of like underneath, giving a little bit of a, I don't know, little accompaniment, I guess. Okay, then this song, Back Pocket, this is at the end. I think it was. These kids are so cute with the dancing. It's okay. So you can hear the clarinet kind of shredding a lot in there, like a little bit of a trio. And then this song, I just have to find. It's kind of in the middle.
And
There we go.
maybe distance.
So those are just some examples of clarinet outside of classical jazz and klezmer. And that's all I got for you today. If there's any questions, please feel free to shoot them my way. I will do my best to answer them. And yeah.
Yeah, I do have one question though, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like, are you actually really good at understanding music theory by chance?
Yeah, I love music theory.
Yeah, I was hoping if you'd be able to teach me because I'm actually kind of need some help with some music theory stuff. That's okay.
I could send you some stuff, yeah.
Well, I'm saying like if you would teach me that type of stuff, I would be like, okay, that would be perfect because like for my audition coming up for this December for QC's music QC's music major, I thought that would really help help me increase my music theory knowledge a bit. So it actually helped me increase some
Yeah, I gotcha.
some
I could send stuff that that could help you out a little bit. I don't really teach music theory, but I know like what would be asked of you on that placement exam. So
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I'm Angel. I also need a little help with the theory. Yeah, I also need to take exam. They will place me in different level according to my exam. And also I want to self-study some theory. If you could have some book, music theory book for self-study.
I gotcha. Yeah, I could email you both some things.
Carrie, you're getting a second job.
I already have like 2 jobs too. It's like
All right, don't bombard Carrie.
Thank you for your presentation. That's very good.
That was really, really good, Carrie. Thank you so much. I love the clarinet.
Thank you.
And Carrie's right. For all instruments, create something simple when you're going into the studio because your musician's going to be sight reading it and you want it to come out good. So last semester, some student made a very complicated piano part. It was too much, and it's better to keep it simple, and then we can all have a good project. So that's great. Any other questions for Carrie or recording audio before we take a little break? All right, so let's come back at 6:26. Matt, I'm still working on your issue. I'm gonna look into it during the break and hopefully I'll have a good answer for you.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys in 20 minutes.
Wait, Professor, I do have one question though. Whenever I try to play back my audio, for me playing guitar, it doesn't somehow just plays it back though, from the song I started playing.
Yeah, because you have to change your setup playback engine back to built-in output.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to keep the setup on built-in microphone, no?
No, because that is when you're recording, but if you want to hear it back, you have to go back and change the setup. If you have an interface, then you can do it. You don't have to change it back and forth. But if you don't have an interface, you have to go back to setup, playback engine, and then change it back to microphone or MacBook built-in output.
Okay. So yeah, I already have my track already written down. So in the meantime, is it only just that, or is it more tracks you have to put in afterwards?
You have to put in more. I think this week, what do we have to do? Create 2 minutes piece by recording 2 audio tracks over a rhythm track in expand.
So just 2 tracks basically.
2 audio tracks, and then you're gonna put in like a drum track in expand.
So like 1 guitar and 1. Wait, hold on. How about this? 1 lead guitar, 1 rhythm guitar, maybe.
Totally. Perfect.
Oh, you just made my life more easier. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No problem. All right, and the other thing I wanted to say to you is when you're sending me your files, right now you're just sending me the PTX file, and that was fine for MIDI, but now that you're having audio, you have to make sure that you send me the whole Pro Tools folder. So watch what I do.
Same thing how I did last week, right?
No, that was confusing because you just sent me the PTX file. So what I want you to do is when you open Pro Tools, if you see what I'm doing here,
Okay.
I'm loading it up. Okay.
My new guitar came in today. If you didn't notice.
That's very exciting. So you're going to be naming it song 1 meet underscore 927. Okay, then this is important. You want to make sure you know the location of where you're saving it to. So save it to your desktop, say. That's really important. So then I'm going to create my
Wait, are you doing it because like your computer's frozen for some reason?
You don't see my computer?
No, I mean I see though, but it's like you're lagging a lot for some reason.
I'm lagging?
Yeah.
Okay, did you see what I just did?
Not really, no.
Okay, so I'm gonna do it again. Let's see. Okay, so you're gonna go, I'm sharing my computer, sharing desktop 1. Okay. Okay, so I'm opening Pro Tools. Get this out of here. Get this out of here. Okay, open Pro Tools. Always takes a while to load up. Okay, so you see this dashboard?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna name it song 1, say meet underscore and then 927. So do this naming technique. Then this is really important. Make sure you know the location down here of where you're saving it.
So click on like location afterwards.
Yeah, and then pick a spot where you know where it is. So desktop is a good spot. And then hit create. Okay, it already.
Okay.
V2. Okay, V1. Okay. So my Pro Tools opened up. Now every time I save, I'm just going to go to File, Save, or Command S. That's all I'm going to do. And then when you send it to me, you're going to send me this whole folder.
Yeah, which I mean I did it last time. I sent you the whole folder.
Yeah, but there was something missing. So just make sure you follow those steps because that'll make it make you know where your file is and you'll be able to send me the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Other than that, great job.
All right.
And ready? I'll see you in like 15 minutes or so.
How many minutes?
6:26.
Oh, okay. In the meantime, I'll just like keep practicing if that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, and Pam sent you a theory textbook.
Wait.
Oh, where?
in the chat, Pam was really nice and she sent you and Amit
Oh,
a theory PDF textbook for theory. that you
oh,
can look at.
in the chat. Oh,
Yes.
the chat.
Okay, I'll take a look at it as soon as I can.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your chat note, but I don't see the music theory book.
I think Pam put it.
Put in. She have a message says, "Don't worry, music theory will be basic to take a test." I don't see the name of a book.
Carrie sent a link and Pam sent a download. If you scroll up to Pam's message, She sent to download Harmony voice leading PDF.
PDF.
If you
I
scroll up through the chat.
go up to the chat.
And then,
Yeah.
and then
Oh.
Carrie sent a website
Oh,
that
I
looks.
think for the audition task, the website will be very helpful. The book is the book that we're using right now, but it's more complicated. And
oh,
it's-
yeah.
right. Just use that website. That website is actually what you're gonna be tested on today.
Right, but I don't see the website on the chat room. I'm sorry. I mean,
Harry just posted before my chat. I'm Ting Ting.
oh. All right, let me do again. I, I, I don't see.
I just reposted it.
Oh. You. Yeah, now I got it. Thank you. The website, yeah. I got it from teachers, professors, yeah. Oh, those, that, that's pretty simple. How about the PDF like this, but it's the chord? This is very.
Hi, everybody. How was the break? I went down a rabbit hole with Matt's problem and I forgot what time I said to come back. So thank you, Carrie, Pam, and Ting Ting for sharing your thoughts about I guess there's an audition test. And Carrie sent a link to a website where it looks great, and Pam sent a PDF, which looks great too. So if you're worried about the tests, look into that. But Ting Ting also had some words of advice and said, take the basic class, because we'll learn a lot of stuff. And I have to say, I took 4 theory courses and I think I'm, utilizing one, the initial one. So it's good to have the basics down. Matt, I sent you a link that it looks like maybe you can only use, you have to switch the playback engine for both when you do the recording and then when you listen back. But do me one favor and just check to make sure that you get signal from your microphone. And you have a dynamic microphone, so you don't have to turn the.
I do get signal on my interface, if that's what you're asking about.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
It's just not showing up in.
Yeah, not in Pro Tools.
Can you show me your playback engine again? So I can see the
Yeah.
options.
Let me reopen it.
Okay. Actually, this is looking good. Now hit record enable. It's no longer grayed out.
Oh yeah, I see. I'm getting audio because I'm putting my computer audio through the interface, so I'm getting
okay.
your,
Okay.
your audio. Hello, hello,
Yeah, you're not getting
hello.
it.
Oh, I do get my audio too, though.
Wait, you're getting it through the microphone?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
But it sounds kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's playing through the computer too, through the interface.
Yeah, go to your playback engine. Nice. Oh, yeah,
That's the
so your
act bit.
playback. Okay, so you have two USB audio codecs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking one might be the input and one might be the output. Yes. Yeah. Hit okay or yes.
All right, so this one's the. You can see my screen now?
Yep.
Yeah, I think this one must be the output.
Okay. So from the thread I read that it's with the interface you have that they're separate.
Yeah.
So you have to switch back and forth when you, which is kind of a pain when you record and
Yeah,
then
it
listen back.
doesn't seem like I can switch back and forth though.
Or you would have to go back to the playback engine to hear back what you did.
Yeah.
I'll keep looking into it.
I'm gonna try recording when I get off of Zoom so I can like see if it's just because I also have like the Zoom audio coming through here that there's a problem.
But yeah, there's a lot going on. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, or the last thing we're going to talk about today, is stereo recording techniques. So when we go into the studio, we're going to be privileged with plenty of microphones that we can use. And right now, we probably only have one that we can use, but when we're in the studio, you can mic the clarinet like 10 times if you want to get every different aspect of it. With pianos, you want to mic them at least twice. Drums, you can have 6 or 7 drums on or microphones on a drum set. But there are different stereo recording techniques that you can use to get different sounds and maximize the recording space that you use. So stereo recording is a technique involving the use of 2 microphones to simultaneously record one instrument. The mono signals from each microphone are assigned to the left and right channels of the stereo track to create a sense of width in the recording. So essentially what you would do is you would create, in Pro Tools, you would create 2 tracks. You could either create 1 track or 2 tracks. You could do 2 mono tracks, or you can do 1 stereo track, and that would be audio. And then you can see that your input would be, oh, I gotta change my interface. Yes. Okay, so you can see that my track is split up into a right speaker and a left speaker. And I would select interface 1 and 2. So basically on my interface, I would, if you can see, I would have 1 microphone plugged in here and 1 microphone plugged in there, and I would just hit record and they would both be recorded onto the 1 track. So there are different, you can mic your setup any way that you want, but there are some techniques that people have used in the past that have resulted in great results. One is the XY stereo recording. Mics used are 2 directional mics, usually small diaphragm condensers. This is great for recording guitar. Positioning at an angle between 90 degrees and 135 degrees so that their capsules coincide at a single point. The wider the angle, the wider the stereo image. And people do get out tape measures and compasses to make sure the accuracy is there. Because when you're recording in the studio, it can be pricey, so you want to get it right the first time. The ORTF mics used would be 2 directional mics, usually small diaphragm condensers again. Positioning would be spread outward at an angle at about 110 degrees with the capsule space 17 centimeters apart. And here's another demonstration. The balloon line pair is 2 figured 8 mics or bidirectional mics. And same as the XY technique. And you can see how they would be positioned here. At the studio, there is the AKG microphones that you guys can use, which are great condenser microphones that have a bunch of polar patterns to pick from. Then there is the AB stereo recording, 2 omnidirectional mics, usually small diaphragm condensers. Point both mics towards the instrument at a distance of a foot and spaced 2 feet apart. So it would be 1 foot away, and then the microphones would be 2 feet from each other. Then the mid side, you can see this would be your sound, your vocalist or whoever, and then another microphone there. 1 small diaphragm condenser mic, either cardioid or omnidirectional. 1 large diaphragm condenser mic must be set to the figure 8 setting. So on the condenser microphones, right here is where they have a little switch where you can switch the polar patterns. So the positioning, the figure 8 is placed sideways at a 90-degree angle from the instrument. This mic will record sound on both sides and will function as the side in the term of mid-side. The other mic is positioned on top of, or below the figure 8 mic, and is pointed directly towards the instrument. It will function as the mid in the term mid-side. So let's listen. Oops. Take one like this.
Wayfair presents.
Make sure I shared the sound in my screen. So this is all things that you can ponder as you're picking your instrument and getting excited for your session. So you all walk away with
Sense lighting. Get the latest looks with top fixtures at low price.
The 6 microphone techniques I'll show you in this video can be used in so many different ways. From getting a
Professor, I
huge
think
drum
you're sharing
sound
the
for a
wrong
rock
window.
album.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
We don't see the video though.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem.
Were you all studying or watching Pro Tools? Okay. So, here we go.
The 6 microphone
Can you see
techniques
now?
I'll show you in this video can be used in
Cool.
so many different ways. From getting a huge drum sound for a rock album, to giving a listener the opportunity to virtually sit inside of a beautiful concert hall without ever leaving the comfort of their own home. This week, I'm working with Ernesto Doral Jr. on drums and recording engineer and producer Rich Harris at Shock City Studios in St. Louis. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kyle. Welcome to Audio University. Not only are the techniques useful, but the concepts behind the techniques are absolutely essential if you want to learn to create more immersive audio experiences for music, film, or video games. The most important thing I want you to take away from this video is that there are a few ways humans determine the direction a sound is coming from, called sound localization cues. As recording engineers, we can use these principles to create a spatial element in our recordings. The first localization cue is called an interaural level difference, or an ILD. An interaural level difference basically describes the difference in level between the left ear and the right ear. Imagine a snare drum placed directly in front of you. The sound from the snare drum travels the same distance to both your left ear and your right ear, and is therefore equally loud in both ears. This tells your brain that the snare drum is directly in front of you. However, if the snare drum were placed off to your right side, the sound would take a longer path to your left ear and would be slightly quieter by the time it reached the left ear. This would indicate to your brain that the sound originated on your right side. The second sound localization cue is called an interaural timing difference, or ITD. An ITD describes the difference in the time of arrival between the left ear and the right ear. Going back to the snare drum example, not only would the sound be quieter in the left ear if the drum were placed off to the right side, but it would also reach the right ear sooner than it would reach the left ear. If the brain detects a sound in the right ear before detecting the sound in the left ear, it will determine that sound to have originated from the right side. The last sound localization cue I want to talk about is called a head-related transfer function. In basic terms, a transfer function is just the effect a component of a system has on a signal passing through that system. In this case, we're describing the effect that the listener's head has on sounds reaching each ear. If I talk directly into this microphone, it sounds a lot different than if I placed my hand in front of the microphone. This case is describing a hand-related transfer function. The listener's head could have a similar effect. A sound originating on the right side might sound a little bit darker in the left ear than the right. By the time the sound gets around the skull, the shadowing of the skull might cause a little bit of high frequency loss by the time it reaches the left ear. Now let's talk about how these localization cues can be harnessed by recording engineers to make more immersive recordings. I'll walk through the 4 general types of stereo microphone techniques, going through the pros and cons of each of them. I'm also going to show you 6 techniques that you can try for yourself. To learn even more techniques, check out the full post at audiouniversityonline.com/stereo microphone techniques. The first type I want to show you is called a coincident pair. The word coincident indicates that the 2 microphones occupy the same point in space. Now, the benefit of a coincident pair is that the 2 microphones are aligned in space, and therefore they're aligned in time. So if you were to sum the left and right channel together to mono, there wouldn't be any phase interference. This is called mono compatibility. The first technique I want to show you is called XY. To set up a pair of microphones in XY, you simply place 2 directional microphones with the diaphragms aligned at a 90-degree angle. Pan the right-facing microphone to the right, and pan the left-facing microphone to the left. This technique operates on the principle of an ILD, or interaural level difference. Because these are cardioid microphones, sounds on the right side will be louder in the right-facing microphone because they'll be on axis with the right-facing mic, while being 90 degrees off axis with the left-facing mic. The second technique is very similar to the XY technique, but it utilizes a pair of bidirectional or figure-8 microphones instead of cardioid mics. This method is called bloom line. You simply place 2 microphones with their polar patterns perpendicular to one another. Again, you'll pan the right-facing microphone to the right and pan the left-facing microphone to the left. Depending on the style of microphone you're using, you might need to turn one microphone upside down to get the right placement. The third technique I want to show you is also a coincident pair, called mid-side. This technique is a bit more complicated to set up, but bear with me because it's definitely worth it. One microphone in this setup has a cardioid polar pattern, and it's facing directly ahead. The other microphone has a bidirectional or figure-8 polar pattern and faces perpendicular to the cardioid mic. The 2 microphones come into your mixer or DAW. Once they get there, you'll duplicate the bidirectional mic and invert the polarity on one copy. Now you've got 3 channels. A front-facing cardioid, called the mid microphone, and 2 copies of the side microphone that are in opposite polarity. Leave the mid microphone panned to the center, and pan 1 copy of the side microphone all the way to the left, and the other copy all the way to the right. This setup allows you to adjust the stereo width of your recording after you record. Turning the side microphones up will make the stereo width wider, while turning the side microphones down will keep the sound anchored in the center. The best part about the mid-side technique is that it's 100% mono compatible. When the 3 channels are mixed together into mono, the left and right side signals simply cancel out, leaving only the mid channel. The second type of technique I want to show you is called a near coincident pair. In a near coincident pair, the two microphones are close to the same position, but not quite. Now, of course, this means that when they're summed to mono, there will be some phase interference, but it also means that we can now catch ITDs, or interaural timing differences. Sounds originating from the right side will reach the right microphone before reaching the left microphone, which could send a signal to the listener's brain that the sound must be coming from the right side. One of the most popular near coincident microphone techniques is called ORTF. To set up a pair of microphones in ORTF, place two directional mics about 17 centimeters apart, facing 110 degrees away from each other. Pan the right-facing mic to the right and the left-facing mic to the left. This method harnesses the power of both interaural level differences and interaural timing differences. A sound originating from the right side will be both on axis with the right-facing microphone and will reach the right-facing microphone first. Next, let's take a look at the type of stereo microphone technique called a spaced pair. In a spaced pair, there's much more distance between the microphones than in a near coincident pair. One example of a spaced pair technique is a spaced omni. This is simply a pair of omnidirectional microphones placed anywhere from a few feet apart to several meters apart. One drawback of this technique is that you really need to dial in the placement before pressing record. Placing them too close together might give you too narrow of a stereo image, while placing them too far apart may give you a hole in the middle of your stereo image. The last type of stereo microphone technique I want to show you is called a baffled pair. Now, a baffled pair could technically be considered a near coincident pair, but with a twist. With a baffled pair, we're going to actually place a barrier between the two microphones, and this gives us a big advantage, because now we can capitalize on all three of the localization cues: interaural level differences, interaural timing differences, and a head-related transfer function. Several companies produce microphones specifically designed for making binaural recordings. These microphones aren't cheap, but they offer extremely realistic sound by using two microphones placed in an artificial human head. You can get a similar effect by using two omnidirectional lav microphones. I'll place these microphones just inside my ears and use my skull as the baffle between the two mics. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and watch the next video that's on your screen now.
All right. So that's just some food for thought for our studio time. The more prepared we are, the more great your final project will be. Any questions? All right, so for next week, we will be continuing with our grad program for grad presentations. Pam, you'll be going with the flute. And we look forward to hearing about it. And then your assignment is for grad students, create 3 minutes, undergrads 2 minutes piece by recording 2 audio tracks over a rhythm track sequenced in Mixband. Submit a written response, including a description of the sonic character you were trying to achieve, description of a recording process, what microphones or other equipment was used, microphone positioning, what you employed, whether or not you were able to successfully achieve your artistic intent using this process. Include pictures of your setup. So we have some time left, so I want everybody to get started so we can suss out any kinks that you have in your audio recording equipment. And how does that sound? Everybody excited to record some audio?
Wait, so once again, I could be able to do lead guitar, rhythm guitar, and add some drums, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's all I need. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Any other questions? How are you making out, Matt? You're waiting to get off Zoom?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try right now by like just switching on my audio
You
settings.
want to sign off Zoom and give it a try, and then
Yeah,
sign
yeah,
back on? Keep us
yeah,
posted.
yeah. I'll try it.
Cool.
Hello? Hello?
Is that Tyan you?
Yeah, it's me, Tian.
Oh, how are you?
Yes, sorry for that. Sorry for that. I'm outside.
Yeah, it's
I'm
okay.
only able to do some homework yet. But I have a question. Like,
go for it.
The this week's assignment, I can understand we need to record a line, record audio, or
Yes.
like for example for saxophone. But another one, you said another audio. We need to do a rhythm section.
Yeah, so using expand, do a rhythm section. So do the kick drum or a
Oh.
or a clap. Just that will be MIDI.
Oh, so don't need to record in
No. So
in
one
the
track will be
instrument.
MIDI and then 2 audio tracks.
Okay. So we have to do a new song, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Not a cover something.
No, do a new one.
Cover by. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Professor.
No problem.
So if I want to hear my audio again, then what am I supposed to press?
If you want to hear the playback, then you go to setup, playback engine, and then built-in output.
Yep, got it. Well, yeah, for the audio like thing you told me to do, like, like whenever I actually wanted to how do you say that? I don't know why I keep stuttering my words so much.
That's okay.
When you said like, like put your like, save work, like, in like a folder, basically, I kind of like, put mine as September 27th audio is what I put in basically.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, yeah, I just want to be sure with you that that's pretty much it though.
And then just make sure you send me the whole folder.
Yeah,
And
that's
when you go to save your files, do Command S or just do file save. You don't have to do anything.
yeah, like, yeah. Also, like, like the fast way, like, to like convert a folder, like how we did last week, basically. That makes it a little more faster, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much it though.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Professor. I'll see you next week then.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Professor. See ya.
How'd it go, Matt? Any luck, Matt? How are you making out, Matt? Were you able to record?
Yeah, so the way I did it was I just had my audio come straight out of the computer and then my input from the interface.
Cool. I'm glad it worked.
Professor? Can you hear me? I think Professor Mike is not on.
Oh, yep, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Can I quickly ask you a question? I'm on
Go
your
for it.
course. Okay, thank you. I'm on your course Blackboard.
Uh-huh.
How to get your I saw you have a like a mic, then you have a video is connected with YouTube. How to get that?
Okay, so I post everything on Google Classroom. And I think
I found it.
I sent you an invite for it.
You sent to my Gmail invite form.
Yes.
I need a respond your invitation.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it should be there. I think maybe I can send it again.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I probably
Yeah,
didn't
it's
respond
waiting for response.
Oh.
And, yeah. I just sent you another invite, so hopefully you'll have it.
Yep, I see it. Thank you.
So all the slides and all the classes are posted on there.
Yeah, so I just respond. After respond, it will be in there.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.